ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كل بدعة ضلالة.
As for sending money overseas, my brothers and sisters, as you see all of this advertising that takes place these days on billboards and wherever you go and send it to this place, send it to that place, send it to Africa, send it to Bangladesh, send it to India. All of that is not from the sunnah of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala has very strong speech against this. He said that was not the practice of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, to send his money to Yemen or send his money to outlying villages where there are poor people and tell them to sacrifice there and eat from the meat there. He would never do that, alayhi salatu wassalam. It is not allowed to send money for sacrifice overseas as a means of feeding the poor. People send their money to sacrifice to poor countries where the meat is distributed. This behavior is because of their ignorance of what the Sharia intends and their ignorance of the Sharia rulings. The Prophet ﷺ sacrificed himself. Some of the Sahaba deputized others to sacrifice for them. So this conduct whereby you send your bank details and you send a certain amount of money and they're going to sacrifice in some place in Africa or Bangladesh or the Far East or wherever else, then that is not from the Sunnah. So avoid it and perform the sacrifice in your communities and eat from the meat and share the meat between your families and your relatives and the poor. This is a distinguishing sign of Islam in the months of Dhul Hijjah. The sacrifice and the slaughter of the animal is an act of nearness to Allah. If the money is sent overseas, you can't eat from the sacrifice. You've missed one of the great benefits of the sacrifice. And eating from the meat is something enjoined in the book of Allah, established in the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and his family and his companions. Furthermore, the sunnah of Eid al-Adha is not to eat up until you return from the prayer. And then when you return from the prayer, what do you eat? You eat the meat of the sacrifice. That's what's cooked. That's the sunnah. How are you going to do that if you go and send money overseas? Therefore, by sending it overseas, you have removed a great distinguishing sign of the sunnah on the day of Eid in this land that you live in. If you want to help the poor overseas, there are many abwab that you can open. There are many doors through which you can help them. Send them your wealth, send them your money. No harm. Sadaqah, the doors of sadaqah is open. Why do you have to take this door, which is for you and your family, to sacrifice? Why do you have to open that one when there's many doors of sadaqat and many means through which you can help them? So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cause us and give us a tawfiq to benefit from these days of Dhul Hijjah. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the ability to understand His religion correctly and increases in piety and righteous deeds and good actions throughout these 10 days and throughout the days of Tashriq. Wa jazakumullahu khairan.